What's going on here? Please forgive me. I'm a little bit late. I think like this time is like just throwing everybody off, right? But where are my manners? Hey, this is Sean, aka the Savvy Business Chick, making sure that you know your purpose and destiny in the marketplace. And I love to talk to aspiring and emerging home care CEOs. If you're an aspiring home care CEO, that means you haven't started your home care business yet, but you are looking into it, whether you are starting the research process. Hey, everybody on TikTok, you're starting the research process, or you actually started working on your application. Maybe it's submitted, but you're not quite licensed yet. And if you are an emerging home care CEO, then that means that you have started your home care business. It's up and running. Your license. Thanks so much for the hearts. I really appreciate it. That definitely lets people know that we are here, that I am here, and you know that I am your favorite home care business mentor. Why? Because I'm always telling you guys the insider secrets. I'm usually telling you the things that most home care coaches, consultants won't tell you. Thank you so much. AME Quality Home Care. Thank you so much for joining. If this is your first time watching me, first, don't let it be your last. If you're on YouTube, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you are on TikTok, please don't forget to hit that follow button, and so on and so on. Oh, thank you so much. So this this is going to help you tonight if you are haven't started yet, right? If you haven't started your home care business and you're in these states, and I'm going to put it on the board. And also, if you're looking to expand. So thank you so much for the roses, the hearts. If you're looking to expand, or if you are wanting to get started, and I'm telling you, with these states, you can get started within 30 to 60 days. And I'm going to help you out. Okay, cool. Thank you so much. So I really appreciate that. And yes, please email me. So first of all, I'm gonna put it on the board. Please forgive me that the board is kind of like it's been used, right? So, and this is pretty much how I train. Like even with when I was back in the office, I would always pull out like the dry erase board or the little big post-it notes and just like put it on paper. Why? Because I believe people learn differently. Sometimes people need to see me list things out and also just, tell you what's going on. So please forgive me if I'm looking this way. I'm talking to you on TikTok. I'm looking this way. I'm talking to you on YouTube. So again, if this is your first time watching me, please don't let it be your last, but do let me know where you are watching me from I'm just going to put it out there first, right? I'm just going to put them on the whiteboard, and then we're going to talk about strategy. We're going to talk about getting started. What are the most popular areas for you to start? In these cities, I'm going to give you like some stats. You guys know I love to give you the stats. And then I'm going to just take some general Q&A from you and let you know how I can help you the best. Okay, we got Pennsylvania over here. Thank you so much for the hi bear. Thank you so much for the finger hearts. Thank you guys so much. Yes, I do assist with South Carolina. South Carolina is a regulated state. So let me get to this, guys. And if you can see it on my whiteboard. We got Arizona. I'm trying to change up the colors. Alabama. I always forget if Massachusetts is two S's right there. Michigan, M-I, crooked letter, I, crooked letter, I, humpback, I. Mississippi. Oops, not New Hampshire. It's Nebraska, and finally New Mexico. Okay, so I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I am wrong. Guess what? I want to add one. I thought I was putting it in order. Guess what? Iowa. We got Iowa down there too. Can you guys see it? Let me move this over for my friends on. Can you guys see it? Okay. So, and then for this instance, guys, we are talking about these are non-regulated states. And we are talking about one last color, non-medical. Now, just so we can kind of like scan the room, if you're in the state of Arizona, or you know somebody in the state of Arizona, or you will be interested in learning more about Arizona, give me number 1. If you're in the state of Alabama, or you'll be interested in starting an agency in Alabama, give me the number 2. If you are in the state of Massachusetts, or you will be interested in starting an agency in Massachusetts, give me a number 3. And same thing with Michigan, that's number 4. Mississippi, number 5. Nebraska, number 6. New Mexico, number 7. And Iowa, number 8. Okay, 2. We got 2. I got 2. I'm trying to count. I got 1, 3. I got 1, 1. And this is how I can customize it. I do see some other states that you guys are putting up there, like Pennsylvania, Columbus. Maybe you guys are telling me where you're watching me from, just in case there's a delay. 1, 3, and 7. Okay. But just for tonight, I want you guys to know that we are going to stay focused on these states because it's so much to go into, right? And so let's just stick to these states. I do have informational videos about how to start an agency in Pennsylvania, how to start an agency in Maryland. I saw that up there. If you don't see your state up there, it's because we haven't gotten to it yet. Is it a reason why? I'm not understanding your question. And Virginia, we have one for Virginia. Congrats. Thank you so much for buying the DIY kit. We got a lot of people that's interested in Alabama, so that is good. Okay. All right. So for that being said, oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm glad that it worked out for you, and let me know if you need any additional support with that. Okay. Okay, so now that since we have a list of these non-regulated states, what do you need to do? Well, first, congratulations, because you don't have to go through the regulatory process that most of us have to go through when we get licensed. So what you do, or what you should do, Hey, Rayvon, what you should do is definitely the first step is to register your business. Now, I was talking to a new mentee. She just joined my home care licensing program, and of um, she's in the state of Maryland, right? And she is so, oh, thank you so much. I'm glad you came across here too. And even though I take her to be a very bright woman, she's studying to be a nurse. She has some business background. I had to challenge her on the way she was thinking. She said, well, I started a cleaning business not too long ago. So I started that as a sole proprietor. So why can't I start this as a sole proprietor? And I said, well, let's look at the root of that word. It's soul, meaning solo. You so you so by yourself. You can't hire you can't hire staff to work with you, right? So even though I do try to steer away from giving you guys corporate structure advice, I would like to in this conversation just let you know that I would like for you to set your business up for success, right? So we want to choose, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to choose the best corporate structure. We want to start out with either you're going to do an LLC or an INC. Now, the advice I usually give to people is you don't have to talk to a CPA, right? You don't have to talk to a CPA. This is a good time to talk to your tax person, the person that does your personal taxes. Now, what I would do is I would find out if the person that does your personal taxes has some individuals that they do business taxes for, right? So I would, maybe when you're scheduling your appointment to get your personal taxes done, I would say, can you carve out a little bit more time for me? I'm thinking, yeah, they can't hire, right? They can't hire. That's good. Um, I would say, can you carve out a little bit of time for me? I have a couple of questions for a business I'm thinking about starting. And do you do business taxes? And I just have a couple of questions. I know because this is a busy time of the year, right? Tax time is busy. You wouldn't want to take up too much time. Be prepared to pay that person for their time. If they say, okay, well, you have to set up a separate meeting, right? It's going to be way cheaper than going to speak with a CPA. And one of the main reasons why I usually advise someone to talk to their tax person first is because ding, 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 you need to be thinking about, well, I'm going to have employees. What's going to be my tax responsibility? Oh, going to YouTube. Okay, yeah, you can go to YouTube if you're not watching this. If it's not coming across well on TikTok, right? So, what's going to be my tax responsibility for having employees that I'm going to have to pay taxes on? So, I usually ask that within in my third year, right, of business. And remember, I said within 22 months of operating my home care business, I generated over 2.1 million in revenue. It happened so fast. I didn't have that advantage to ask someone, well, what should I be doing for taxes, right? I was renting. I did not own. So when I tell you guys, I hurried up and bought a house. I was a single woman. I was still under 30. I had no way for me to, I had no like tax write-offs. I had no children. I had no house. I didn't have any tax write-offs. So one of the first things I did when we got this surge in revenue is I bought a house, right? Because the house that the agency was in, I told you guys, if you follow me like over a month ago, I said, guess what? I was renting. I love being transparent. No, my home care business is a skill. I tell you, it was renting, right? And so when I tell you I bought a house, then I actually bought a house because the agency was generating so much money. But because it was doing well in my first year and then doing really well in my second year. When I got to my third year, you got your license today. Yay! Congratulations. Tammy on TikTok got her license today. Congratulations. We celebrate you. And DM me on Instagram and I'll get you get you something as a special gift. What state? Let us know. So what I was trying to say is, guess what? My third year business, I had to pay a lot of taxes. And so I wish someone would have told me and I would have been a little bit more prepared. North Carolina, okay, congratulations, Tammy. We celebrate you and we're so happy that you are an official. You've moved over from an aspiring to an emerging home care CEO. So register your business. That is step one. And if you don't know which corporate structure to choose, I would talk to your tax person. You don't have to talk to an attorney. You don't have to talk to a CPA. I would start off by talking to the tax person. Now, if your tax person does not do business taxes, then you may need to look into someone that can give you advice on the business side. Now, from my experience, I've had a really, really good corporate attorney. My corporate attorney actually went to my alma mater, American University, which has like a really decent law program, more so on the side of, international business, because that's my major. So I had a lot of international things like have to do with immigration. But she was a business law attorney. So if you feel like you want to talk to an attorney and just get some legal advice on your structure, I'm saying you can do that. I would prefer you start with your tax person, and then if you want to move on to your attorney, make sure that it is a person with business law, who is a business law attorney. There is a difference. There is a big difference. Someone that does contracts, and someone they're going to help you with your corporate structure and your foundation. And I really needed that with her as my agency got bigger. And it also helped me shift over to being like a founder, CEO emeritus. So that's the first thing. The second thing, of course, after you get your business registered, you're going to secure your EIN number. Guys, don't pay someone to help yes, we're saying people are saying congratulations to you on LinkedIn, Tammy. Don't get your please don't get a don't pay someone to do your EIN number. I've seen people get charged $50, $75. It's free. Just go to irs.gov. Please stop being intimidated to fill out forms. You guys are going to be filling out forms all the time when it comes. It's free. Yes, ma'am, Angela, on YouTube. Because we have to fill out so many forms for our application, for getting credentialed, please do not be intimidated by forms. Just, fill them out as much as you can. And when you get to the point where you don't understand, then get some help, or get some help initially. So that get your business structure together, register your business, get your EIN number, and then let me start with a little bit of market research. Let me go pull some of the demographics and highlight some of the features of each state. if you guys have any specific questions, let me know. I'm sorry, I'm trying to navigate around. Now, I'm going to start with Arizona, even though we had, I'm going to do Arizona, Alabama, Massachusetts, and New Mexico. And then I will come back to Michigan, Mississippi, Nebraska, and Iowa, because from the chat, most of you wanted to learn about those states. So I want to give you some demographics on that. Guys, I had someone who, unfortunately, they utilized one of these home care consulting companies that are certified, and they charged this couple, was a husband and wife. They charged them $13,000 for policies for the state of Arizona. Can I tell you guys, that broke my heart so much? Like, because if you think about it, I'm telling you that this state is non-regulated. They didn't need $13,000 worth of policies. And that's how you, as they say, you get got. Now, just because you are a non-regulated state, should you get policies and procedures? Absolutely. Why? You have no guide. You have no guide. You have no guide. You do need a guide. And the way that the policies and procedures are structured is that they give you a guide for how you should be doing your admission, how you should do a discharge, how you should handle a complaint, how you should do your onboarding of your staff. They give you a guide. Yes, I'm getting a whole lot of responses on YouTube. Yes, ignorance is expensive. That is so true. That is so true. That is so true. And that's why I said, yes, I do have policies and procedures for Indiana. That's why I said it breaks my heart when, and then, pretty much if they had to take out a loan for that, they're still paying down that. And I want you guys to be able to start marketing, right? That's important to me, that you're able to start operating your business sooner than later. So I will, at the end of this, tell you what policies and procedures you absolutely should have if you don't get, like a whole template or kit, right? Because you're not regulated, so you really kind of don't know what you need and what you don't need. So that's what I would like to do at the end. All right, so let me go here. Let me talk about okay, so first, these are the cities in Arizona that, according to AARP, have a high population of seniors. And that's Chandler, this is in Arizona, Gilbert, Glendale, Mesa, and that's where she was. That's where the couple was that started that home care agency. Peoria, Phoenix, Scottsdale, Surprise, Tempe, Tuscan, and Yuma. Now I'm just going to jump around here, and I'm going to just kind of give some general demographics. And let me see if I can share my screen. Now, unfortunately, on TikTok, I can't share my screen as well, but I will try to do it as best as I can. Okay, so try to share that with you guys. Let me see. All right, sorry, it doesn't come up as well, but kind of you guys get the gist. Let me see. Okay, so here we are, Mesa, Arizona. has a population of 14% of that city are, and this comes from the census.gov, are, which means it should be at least up to date by a year and a half, is 14%. 27% of those individuals live alone, and 25% of those seniors are veterans. And this is what I told her and her husband. I wanted them to get registered with the VA because I feel like that they would do good there and kind of make their money back. Okay, so if you're wondering what 14% looks like, look here. It's saying that between the ages of 65 and 74, that's about 32,000 people. Between 75 and 84, that's about 21,000 people. And then between 85 and up, that's about 87,000 people. So let's look at, let's say 32, 16 plus 21,006 plus 87. That's a potential of 61,000 people just in your senior network that potentially you can serve in your home care business. That's the 14%, right? So let's look at something else real quick. Remember, because I want to be able to run through a couple other city states. I'm not going to stick on one area too long. Trying to see, where is it? Okay, so here you are. All right. All right, if you guys are asking me something, I can't see it right now just because I'm switching my screen on different. Okay, so then, I always like to show you guys, okay, now this is specifically in Mesa that, okay, there's about 8,023. So from the 61,759, I'm going to minus 8,023. They have a fixed income of 60,000 to 100,000. That's a pretty solid a number. And then 100,000 on up is 4,088. So this could be considered a pretty affluent area. So that leaves us with 49,648, right? From me minusing this group and this group, right? I'm not including this group and this group. I'm just trying to prove a point that when I deducted it from the main number, 49,648 were left over. So let's say if we divided that in half. Or let's say half of those people have some kind of VA. They're with the VA because we already saw that the VA had a large percentage, or they're on Medicaid. We'll take down another, let's say 8,000 for people that might be on Medicaid. This hypothetically, that's 16,824 individuals that can potentially need your services and can afford your services. Yes, Ray Vaughn, we just posted the replay. I got your email. I didn't get a text. No, I didn't get a text from you. We're not doing Texas tonight. We're doing the non-regulated states. So that's pretty good. That's a pretty good area, and that's Arizona. It's not even it's not even regulated. Again, all you have to do is register your business. Um, Make sure you get your EIN number. Uh, you will probably need some assistance with building your team, and of course, marketing. And then, um, no, Misty, it does not take 9 to 18 months to get approved in Maryland. One of my mentees is getting her license printed out right now, and I think we got her license in 4 months. So, um, uh, and I just spoke with the state today. So, with that being said, you guys, what do you guys think about Arizona before I go to one more city? For those of you said that you were interested in Arizona, maybe you have a family member, maybe you're relocating there, maybe you are there. Um, I'm just so I can kind of stay focused. I know you guys are asking me about multiple states, but just so I can kind of stay focused on Arizona before I move to a different one state. And I'm not going to even choose like the most popular state, like I mean city, like Phoenix. I chose Mesa. Um, Now let me just look at Glendale. Okay, Misty, I can send you some information. Okay. The information on Mesa was very helpful. Okay, thank you, Sean. Is it Shauna? Yes, Rayvon, I got you. We had such a long session on Saturday. We almost went 3 hours. That it took the video a long time to convert, and then I had to go into mom mode and add some things to the workbook. So we just created a course thing, so you would get a login just like how you did for the boot camp. So you'll be able to view it like that. And I'll definitely respond to you after this. So okay, so let me show you guys Glendale, and then we'll move on to Alabama. I tell you, when you guys do market research or you look at the numbers, it should inspire you, right? It should like take some of your fears and anxieties, and it should like inspire you to just say, okay, I can do this, right? All right, so this is Glendale. Remember, I'm just randomly choosing this. I did not look at this before our session. This is live. Okay, 9% of the population are seniors. I'm sharing with you guys my information. They have they. I think Arizona in general just has a large population of veterans, right? So you might see this household, and that's just to let us know that they do have programs for Medicaid, right? That's pretty obvious, right? But initially, we would want you to go after your affluent market, which, okay, they have. I'm not going to do the numbers the same way I did with Mesa. I'm just going to show it to you between the ages of 65 and 74. It's 11,900, almost 12,000. Then you got 6,022. That's between 75 and 84 ages. And then 85 and up is about 2,700. So this community doesn't have as many affluent, but still 2,000 between 60 and 100K, and then 1450 for 100K and over. So remember, you guys remember my training where I said all you need is 15 to 21 clients to make your first million in your home care business. 15 if the hours are like 7 days a week, and that was an 8-hour schedule. And we know that you can have a client that will actually for 4 hours, or you can get a good case where where they want 12 hours a day, right? Then that would be hey, that would be at 15 clients if it's 7 days a week. But if it's Monday through Friday, then when we did the math, it was about 21 clients. And I um I kind of remind you guys of that because I went to a conference recently, and one of my mentees from the home care marketing boot camp said she wanted to. I said, "Well, what number of client are you up to now?" And she said 15, and 3 of her clients that she got are still from the around the boot camp are still with her, and they 24 hours a day. And I said, "Well, you technically have more because the 24 hours a day clients act as 3 clients in one." And so then someone else says, okay, so you already have kind of like the magic equation to make your first million. So we do expect that she will be sharing that she hit the million, her 7-figure mark by the end of this year. We're going to definitely give it a year, even though it can happen a lot sooner. Okay, so that was Arizona. And before we move on, does anyone have any questions about Arizona? I know you guys want to ask me about all these other states. Guess what? Every Tuesday, I take calls. I'm still one of the only people who has calls on my calendar where you can talk to me for free. Your first 10 minutes. Because I am one of the only people that still has a free call. They are in high demand, so I'm booked out until June. So if you want to skip the line, you can pay like $47 to skip the line and talk to me. Probably this week, I probably have something on my calendar, but usually I talk to anywhere from 10 to like 15, 17 people every Tuesday. So I look forward to that. Tomorrow we start at 10 a.m. and then go all the way to about 4:35. Okay, anybody have any questions on Arizona? All right. While I'm moving on over to Alabama. Now, I had a couple of you say that you were interested in Alabama, and so I'm going to start. Yes, Misty, we're talking about the 8 non-regulated. Thank you so much for asking that question. If you're just joining, we're talking about the 8, and it's kind of behind me, so you may not be able to see it as well. The 8 non-regulated states that you can start a home care business within 30 to 60 days, right? And those are Arizona, Alabama, Massachusetts, Michigan, Mississippi, Nebraska, New Mexico, and Iowa, right? So those are the states we're talking about tonight. I do have some free trainings on other states, and we're working on giving you guys detailed information about some of, like I did one on Georgia a while back, but it's not up to date. So I might still post it because it's still really, really good, helpful information. But the only thing we need to go back and check on is the processing time. And we also did one on Texas and South Carolina. So we are keeping those in mind. Okay. Thank you so much for the hearts on TikTok. Okay, so here are some of the cities that in the state of Alabama that you can be successful in operating your home care business. Now, this didn't come from me. This came from AARP. Thank you for the hearts. Yep, hearts are free, and they definitely let people know more about me, and that's what we want to get more word out so that people can not have to make an expensive mistake like how that one couple did by buying those $13,000 worth of policies in their non-regulated state. So in Alabama, we have Alabaster, Auburn, Bessemer, Birmingham, Decatur, Dothan, Enterprise, Florence, Alabama, Gadsden, Homewood, Hoover, Huntsville, Madison, Mobile, Montgomery, Opelika, Phoenix City, I think I'm saying these right, Prattsville, oh, this is hard, Tuscaloosa, and Vestavia Hills. Wow, I did not practice this before we got on. So if I butchered it and you live in Alabama, please do correct me. I do not mind being corrected. So of course, way more cities in Alabama than we saw in Arizona. That could be a good thing. One thing I want to also share is that even if the state doesn't have any regulations for getting started, usually when you get over into the Medicaid credentialing process, you will need to you will definitely need to have some policies and procedures, and you would have to go through that credentialing process. And I forgot to show you guys this one last thing. And I'm just going to swing back and I'm going to show it to you for both Alabama and Arizona. Okay, I forgot to show you guys that in Arizona, they're charging $36 an hour for a home health aide. Now, it does vary based upon what part of the state you're in. Sorry, hopefully you can see this. Tuscan, it's like 32. Yuma, not enough information. This area was 30. You see how it changes? Prescott, not enough information. So the Phoenix area was about $37 an hour. So just wanted to share that with you guys to go back to that area being pretty high with affluent clients. Now let's see. Okay. Sorry, I'm a little bit too close here. Now for Alabama, the Florence area, I don't want to keep going. So remember where you are, it could be definitely different with how much you can charge. The Dothan, Alabama, they're charging about $32 an hour. Sorry, $22 an hour. Apologies. Montgomery, $22 an hour as well. What's this? Dauphine area, that was $17 an hour. Birmingham area was $27 an hour. Anderson area was $24 an hour, and Gadsden was about $17 an hour. Huntsville, $17 an hour. So that is, in my opinion, not too good, because it was only in like 3 areas in Alabama. Now that doesn't mean don't start an agency in there, but it does mean that a if this is the private pay, then most likely the Medicaid is paying a little bit less than that. And the only way to really grow in that kind of environment, where it's probably more Medicaid centered, is for you to have quantity versus quality. So quality are your private pay clients, right? Quantity are like your Medicaid clients, because there'll be a lot of them, but you don't have to, basically that person is not paying out of pocket. So for this one, after seeing that information, you can get started, and in certain areas you could, find some affluent clients and probably get up to 15 to 30 of private clients, but you should definitely you should definitely get Medicaid credential and then build up your clientele with that. Just so you don't have any, you don't have clients that are constantly telling you they can't afford it, after a couple of months, and then discontinue the service. No. Shauna is asking a great question on YouTube. Is a commercial space office required to start a non-medical home care agency in these states? And the answer is no. Great question. Okay, so let me speed through that, and let me go to New Mexico. New Mexico has very few cities: Albuquerque, Farmington, Las Cruces, Rio Rancho, Roswell, and Santa Fe. I'm going to just choose, a non-familiar one: Las Cruces, New Mexico. Again, it's something going on in the West Coast that I strongly recommend. If you start a non-medical home care agency and in one of these non-regulated states, that you work to get VA approved. You will do yourself a lot of, you will help your agency out a lot, and the VA pays really well. There's some people that get anywhere from 24 hours to 64 hours a week, and they don't have a family caregiver. So you will be there helping with homemaking. And like, as the VA underneath non-medical only pays for 2 things, guys. They pay for companion care, which is also like homemaking. So it's not like the non-medical personal care side where you're going to be doing medication reminding. So it's more of the meal planning, helping them get dressed, housekeeping, running errands for them, and then respite care for a family caregiver. So that's what the VA pays for. And if they have someone that's like a quadriplegic, or they have multiple conditions that makes them disabled, the VA will pay for them to get assistance. So though I have one of my credentialing specialists is going to be talking about VA credentialing this coming Wednesday. So they have 25% veterans. They have in that city alone, they have between the ages of 65 and 74 is about 7,000 individuals. Between 75 and 84 is about 4,500, and then 85 and up is about 1,700 individuals. So, and that's in, when you think about it, I'm looking at one city. That's one city. So you know how if you're in this city and then you have neighboring cities, those are good numbers. Let me also share with you guys. Okay. I just did a simple search, also kind of shifting back to Alabama. There are 33 home care agencies in Montgomery, Alabama. A lot of times we think that the competition in some of these states, some of these areas is so great, but it's really not. And in New Mexico, there are 105 home care agencies throughout the whole state. 105. And we, I just shared with you the numbers of how many people um, are in one city. Now, do we tend as home care business owners to pull from the same pool of caregivers and workers? Yes. And they stay with the ones that treat them the best. Not always the ones that pay them the best, but they stay with the ones that treat them the best. I had one of my nurses reached out to me on Facebook just yesterday. And you know how sometimes I'm not really on Facebook, and this is probably one of the main reasons why I don't have a Facebook group. But it's like a lot of my home care, a lot of other home care coaches, and they have Facebook groups. I'm not even on Facebook. Like every time someone wants to add me to a Facebook group, I'm like, you sometimes got to pay me to go on over there. Right? I'm mostly on Instagram and TikTok and then LinkedIn. Those are like my three main ones. So with that being said, she found me. It came up a suggestion. I said, "Oh, okay." She immediately messaged me. "Oh, hey, boss. I miss seeing you because of course I don't go in the office." And she was telling me what was going on. She's an LPN. I tried to encourage her. Hey, it's not too late. Go get your RN. You're a great nurse. Do that for yourself. And then, but we have a connection because because I treated her right, because the agency treated her right. So you don't have to always pay the highest if you have a good company and they treat your staff really well. And it says the VA is closing providers and PA. Can you help with that? I can help as much as I can. The only thing we can do is kind of like talk to some of the credentialing specialists, the provider enrollment, and with the VA, and that's pretty much as much as we can do, because we don't. There are people that will tell you, yeah, they have a special connection where they can get someone in with an MCO. They can get them a contract. Honestly, I don't tell those kind of fibs. So I can have someone follow up on it though. We do regularly check on the status of certain states, Medicaid enrollment, MCOs, Medicare Advantage, and VA on a quarterly basis. So towards the end of this month, we're going to be doing our checks on certain states. A moment. Is that rate okay? Striker Killer on YouTube is asking a great question. Is that rate included private pay in Alabama? Okay, so the rate that I was quoting and that I kind of like showed you guys when I shared my screen, that would be considered private pay, right? So that is the rate that, if you guys are familiar with long-term care insurance, that is the rate that the long-term care insurance who was associated with like private pay rates has been receiving in that area. And so we can do a good guesstimate that if that is the rate, if it's saying they were getting rates or billing or invoices at $17 in some areas and $22 at other areas, and then finally the highest was $27 and one and like Birmingham, then we definitely know that Medicaid is going to be much less, right? Medicaid is always at least $3 less, at least $3 less than private pay. So like someone in Pennsylvania, I have a mentee in Pennsylvania, she's charging $26 up to $28 for private pay for some of her cases, and Medicaid is paying $21. So this anywhere from $3 to $7 less. In some areas, it's almost like $10 to $15 less. So let me know if I answered your question. Okay. Yep. Tonight, again, we're covering the 8 states. And I thought I was doing the Magnificent 7, but I forgot all about Iowa, Arizona, Alabama, Massachusetts, Michigan, Mississippi, Nebraska, New Mexico, and Iowa. I'm not going to go over that right now for New Jersey. That's too lengthy. I'm sorry. And the video for Indiana is still on YouTube. Okay, so let me wrap this up, guys, because when it comes to the non-regulated states of Massachusetts, now all of these states, I forgot to mention, you can, even though you don't have to go through the licensing process, you can become a Medicaid provider, or you can, become a VA provider. And that is when you're going to probably experience some challenges, because if you start the way you start with with this kind of home care business, then you're going to be a little bit surprised when they start asking you for your policies and procedures. And these are the ones you definitely need to have for getting like credentialed with like a Medicaid. So make sure you guys can see that. Okay. So not in this order, but I do want to let you guys know, you should definitely have client care policies. And usually those include your admission, discharge, client complaints, client monitoring, service plans or plan of care. Mm, reporting abuse, neglect. 2, 3. I'm just going to give those 7 examples are usually underneath a client care. Now, again, I was talking to a young lady this morning. She is studying to be an LPN. And what I said is that in your admission policy, do you know you usually have to put that you're not going to discriminate? Because she said, well, what if I only want clients who walk? And I said, well, that would be discrimination, because what if you get a client who has what if you get a client who has who has a walker, who has a wheelchair? You can get, even in a non-medical situation, you can get a client that has HIV. Now, what is going to be your admission criteria for you to accept or not accept that client? Now, I'm not trying to give you guys any ideas, but a good way to not accept that type of client, if you weren't prepared, is to make sure you have in your admission criteria, okay, we only accept clients if they are able to pay our fees. So what if they're non-Medicaid and they were doing private pay and the rate was high and they asked you to lower it? You can decide to not accept that particular patient because they don't accept your fees. But you could not just sit there across the table from that client and be like, learn that they have HIV, and then all of a sudden just be like, oh yeah, oh no, we can't do that, because that will be discrimination. And we only think about discrimination as far as black and white, but no, people can discriminate in this setting. You can discriminate against someone because of their condition, their disease state, their health status, and that's a no-no. But again, because you're in a non-regulated state, you're not told the rules initially. That's why you need a policy that would guide you on what to do. So if you don't accept a client, what kind of resources would you provide to them or that family? So you need client care policies, and you need policies to help you with operations just as much as you need policies to help you with credentialing. Any questions? The next set of policies that you usually need to have to do with your personnel, or we say HR, right? Usually what most states are looking for is, how you're going to screen them. They call it screening and hiring, right? You usually have to have a policy on some kind of criminal background check. You got to have some kind of policy on staff training, some type of policy on skill assessment. Some require on performance appraisals. me see. Those are pretty much the basic ones. The other ones could be overtime. Um, but usually these are the basic ones. And I can tell you that you're not going to find a policy about screening and hiring if you purchase a employee handbook. I try to steer people away from, oh yeah, I signed up with ADP and they said I can get a handbook, right? There are a couple of states. Oh, actually, I showed that when I did Indiana. So the person that asked me where is the Indiana video, where they specifically said, do not we do not want a employee handbook as policies. They said specifically we want policies that relate to the regulations of the state. They don't want employee handbook policies. Why? Is because they usually don't address the reg or the code. And I know you're like, but Sean, you just said these are non-regulated states, right? Arizona, Alabama, Mississippi, Nebraska, Iowa, Massachusetts, the other states. Yes, but when you get over to the credentialing side, they're going to be looking for you to to function as a regulated state would function. And that's why you should have, your standard policies and procedures that you can use when you're getting credentialed as well as for operations, right? So here's another section. Usually quality assurance. Now, most people don't understand what quality assurance does, but it's usually one large policy that has to do with your quality assurance program, incident reports, tracking trends, client satisfaction, and I'll just say an annual review. What is an incident report? Okay, so if you're in a non-regulated state, you may not know that you have to do an incident report, or you should be doing an incident report every time your client has a fall and that fall sent them to the hospital, right? And then you're tracking a trend. Okay, how many of our clients have have falls this year that have taken them to the hospital and ended up breaking their hip, which sent them to the rehab for 21 days. And so we were unable to bill them for almost a month. Client satisfaction, really doing a survey of how the agency services are accommodating the client. And then the annual review usually means a review of the entire service delivery. Most people don't know how to write the quality assurance program because, as I just described, they don't understand what's in it and what the state is looking for. This quality assurance is so big when it comes to getting credentialed with insurance companies and Medicaid. And then I forgot to add one more thing, because with the insurance companies and like a Medicare Advantage, they're looking for that you have a good billing record to prevent fraud. So this kind of review is essential, right? Because that you would do that review to make sure that the agency is not billing for services it did not provide. Last main section is safety. They call it safety, but it kind of goes back to we can do it's kind of environmental safety. That's one of the bigger things, environmental safety of staff or clients. So depending on your area, if it was, snow, hurricane, right, flooding, a fire, okay. So I'm in the DMV. I'm in the DMV, right? I'm in the Maryland, DC area. We get snow. Do you know that when we get snow, just like Michigan gets snow, Pennsylvania gets snow, Massachusetts gets snow, you still have to have a plan in place for providing service to your clients. And that's usually in your safety policies. How are you going to get your caregivers, your workers, safely to the client and safely back home? How do you write that kind of policy? Same thing. How are you going to keep your clients safe if they really have a big need for care during a snowstorm, during a hurricane, during flooding? It's not necessarily a preferred place for home care, but it is a good state for home care. So that's pretty much how you would do that. As we're wrapping up, this is what I recommend you need for starting a home care business in a non-regulated state, right? You should register your business. Remember we said LLC or INC. Okay. Then we're going to get our EIN number. That's our tax ID. Oops. I'm going to call this my 30-day plan. Right? Right? And this is going to be, I'm going to tell you guys, this is going to be on irs.gov. Right? Then you're going to I'm going to ask you to do some business planning. Business planning to me is a little bit different than a business plan. You want to outline what your services is going to be. Do some market research. Right? And then develop your brand. And set up your accounts. Actually, let me say, establish a budget. Okay. Before I run out of space, the next thing I'm now going to want you to do is develop a marketing campaign. And for your clients and for your workers. Because I always say that recruiting is another form of marketing. I'm running out of space, so I'm going to erase this in a second. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. Step 5, you want to establish your business operational needs. It's going to be look different if you have a home office versus a commercial office. Here, you should have your policies and procedures in place. SOPs, which stands for standard operating procedures. I'll tell you the difference. You should have things that you're going to be doing on a daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, and annual activities. And then with that, start, continue, grow, build. Thank you. Do you recommend obtaining a DUNS number? Yeah. So when you're doing your business planning, you can at that time start obtaining your policies and procedures. But like what I like to do when I'm working with someone who has a non-medical home care agency is let's work on the first things we're going to do. Like if I know that your goal is to immediately start applying for Medicaid or the VA, then yes, we're going to have to put that. We're going to have to make that a priority, right? We're going to have to make that priority sooner than later. But if you're going to start with your private pay, then maybe we can stretch it out a little bit more. But assessing your business operational needs. Do you have a home office? Do you have a commercial office, right? Developing your policies and procedures. Developing your policy procedures are going to be for you and your staff. This is how we admit a client, and that's why I said this. The SOPs, the policies and procedures are admissions. Admissions, even though with a not that kind of like gives you your category. Like, okay, this is the standard of quality for doing a new patient admission. This is how we do it. Okay. We do it within 2 business days of getting the call. That falls on your standard operating procedures, right? Because thank you so much for liking the live. That way, when you get to someone who you're going to add to the team, if they didn't do it on that second business day, then you got to be like, well, what happened? Because that's our standard. This is how we do things. Oh, I was just waiting for this one more person to call. Nah, this how we do that. So now you messing up our flow. Daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, and annually activities. So if you guys have heard the term working on your business, not working in your business, there are daily activities the CEO should be doing. There are weekly activities the home care CEO should be doing. There are monthly activities the home care CEO should be doing. There are quarterly activities the home care CEO should be doing. And there are annual activities the home care CEO should be doing. You need to know those activities and you need to make sure they're done. Remember how I said earlier in the broadcast, I said we're towards the end of the month, which is the end of the first quarter. We're going to check on certain states to see their licensing process. That is our activity that we're going to do in the first week of April. We're going to make those calls. Why? Because sometimes getting those people on the phone is time consuming, right? So we're going to make those calls because sometimes you guys can't get these people on the phone, but we can, right? So we're going to update you and update our records as well. And then always I put at the end, and I really would have preferred to have like a total of 7 items, but start. So you got to get over your fear of starting. So you got to push yourself to start. You got to set a goal or when you're going to start. You got to set a goal when you're going to start your home care business. You got to continue. You got to continue even if you feel like you're not getting immediate results, right? Then you got to grow. You get that first client and you don't settle. You don't take it easy. You still keep moving. Then you got to build. That's when I want to see you adding on people to your team, building, going after new contracts. And that would be like the action plan that I would have someone do. Start, continue. You're like a tree, you're growing, and then you're going to build. So I was thinking about taking on 10 people and doing it in a small group setting. For these states, I have, a home care licensing program for states that are regulated. And then I have also some DIY kits. Taking like 10 people and meeting with them once a week. We meet once a week to work on starting their home care business within the next 30 to 60 days. And now we're going to include, the policies and procedures that you need. We're going to work on helping you get your business registered, right? Helping you get your business registered, helping you walk through getting your entity set up, your EIN. Then we're going to go over the policies and procedures and forms that you could use to start your your non-regulated home care business. Then we're going to give you an employee handbook because you need that, for your staff, it'll help you with the onboarding process. And then we're going to go over four essential trainings for marketing your business. That is really important to me, that you don't just start, because I want you to get into that growth stage. And like, I have a home care mentee. She graduated from my home care licensing program in Illinois. She graduated in January. She messaged me that she got her first client about a week and a half ago. I posted it on Instagram, right? I'm so excited for her and her husband. I sent her the training that we just did this past Saturday on how to develop your signature lunch and learn. I sent that to her for free. Why? I want them to grow. I see that they're moving, they're showing me pictures. Hey, mentor, this is what we did. We still have a relationship where we talk regularly, even though they're not in my one-on-one program anymore. They show me pictures of their office. They told me what they're doing. We went to a job fair. I feel so motivated to continue to help them. I just sent that to her for free. So I only want to work with 10 people. Why? Because my time is valuable, and I can really, be of assistance to 10 serious people who want to start. Now, I want to do these non-regulated states because the regulated states are a little bit different. The regulated states do require more training. The policies and procedures are much different as well. What criteria do you need to pick a great location for the business? What state, please? I changed my LLC name. Does that mean the ages start all over? The ages? The Lunch and Learn is a masterclass that it's like 2.5 hours. And it includes a workbook because we have activities that we were doing during the training. Yes, start in 36 days. Okay. Very interested. Okay. I'm going to put my email here. If you are, do it. I'll put my email here for you to comment. We want to start, what you call it? I want to start by the end of this month. Now, I have a couple of people that were in my home care marketing boot camp. When I get into like intensive trainings, like it takes a lot out of me because it's like showing up every week. So that's why I only want serious people. Now, I do have a home care licensing program for other regulated states, but one of the reasons why I want to take on these 10 mentees, I feel like it will still keep it personal enough for us to be in a small group setting. Hey, Tax CEO, thank you so much. And we got to get you on, because one of the things we just covered was what is the better business structure, right? What is the better business structure for some of the clients that you work with? Is it LLC? Is it INC, right? For California, I have a video on how to on California. I have a informational video on California on YouTube. So please go over, Shauna, and check that out, and then get on my schedule. You're having trouble accessing Lunch and Learn. Were you on the live, Ann? Yep, you're so right. Until they say 40,000 or 50,000 in profit. Yep. I was gonna say that creative, Mary, but like I said, I don't like giving out tax advice. New Jersey is a good state. I've helped several people in New Jersey get licensed. Only thing I don't like about New Jersey, and like I said, I was trying to stick with that, and then I will move and there is that New Jersey requires you to be accredited by the end of your first year. And with accreditations, those can be costly, right? Because there's only 4 accreditation companies. It's only 4 accreditation companies, like your JCO, your CHAPS, and you have to be accredited with them. And then to continue on, you have to pay to play. You have to pay it for free. Oh, absolutely. And yeah, you should get a link for to view the course, because we went over on Saturday. So it'll be posted in about 30 minutes. Okay. So Tax CEO says she's on TikTok. She says she works with other home care business owners. She prefers the LLC because the corporation requires you to pay a reasonable salary rate. So you do have that salary requirement rate. The only thing is that most people have heard Tax CEO that with that accreditation fee, fabulous hair girl, woman, dear, that is something. But that's New Jersey for you. But that it's she says she prefers the LLC. I actually said I was going to have her on a live, so hopefully we can get you on soon. Some people don't like the corporation. I always had corporations with an S corp tax filing, but that's why I said the first thing, go talk to your tax person. But we'll definitely have you on so you can give some clarity for that, because we do have some friends over in YouTube world and LinkedIn. They're saying, yeah, I was told LLC into $40,000 in profit. And yeah. Am I seeing your question? What about Connecticut? I have a training, a free informational video on YouTube about Connecticut. Connecticut is a very easy state. But as I get off, I'm saying you guys can go on, if you're interested, if you want to be one of those 10 in these non-regulated home care states, email me fast, because we're going to get started towards the end of this month. And you'll get the details of that. And then if you're interested in the other states, guys, we're having so much success. I thank God for that. One of my mentees, I really feel like she's going to have her license printed in the state of Maryland at the end of this month. We spoke to them today. They were trying to verify her address. That's how I'm like, oh, she about to get that thing. So they were like, can you verify your address, because what you have on she uses a virtual address on, like, for her state registration. And they were like, well, we wanted to match the address that's going to be on your license. I was like, okay, girl, you about to get that thing. About to get that thing. So for the person, I'll end with that. For the person that asked about Maryland taking 9 to 18 months, this is how we track things, guys. This is how we track things. Last year around this time, it was 9 to 12 months. So you were right. You are right with your comment and asking that question. I just want you to know you're right. Then in August, they changed it to 6 to 9 months. Beginning of this year, they're at 4 to 6 months. Do you know we're constantly in contact with the licensing departments, just making sure that we have all the right information. And I asked them, like, I snuck in like 2 cheat questions whenever I get on the phone. It's like, okay, well, I want to make your job a lot easier. So this is what I would like to do. Okay, no. Do it like this instead. So I asked those cheat questions. I've been doing it since 2006, and God always allows me to get favor. So now we're going to be working on finishing up her marketing package, and so she can start marketing her home care business once she gets her license. So yeah, so we already celebrated Tammy on TikTok, who got her license today in the state of North Carolina. And Tammy, make sure you reach out to me so I can show you some love, even though you did not work with me to get licensed. I celebrate you, honor you, and I'm proud of you, because you're here, right? And it takes a lot of guts to become a home care business owner. It takes a lot of guts. And so I just want to celebrate you. And I'm out, guys. I'm about to jump off here. I got to make sure everybody who was not in the training gets their replay link in the next 15 minutes, because I got my last Zoom at 10 o'clock tonight. So love you. Have a good night. Okay, guys. Have a good night.